Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey,
Hey guys.
and the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, dope?
And I'm your Lord of Punishment, Scribe Light. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good week so far. Nothing terrible has happened, and if you're in a place where there's a snowstorm or such, I hope you're warm and snug as much as possible. How are you guys doing? How are you, Satsu?
I'm good.
Okay. Good talk. How are you, Monkey?
Oh, not worth talking about. Other than I'm very happy because Little Butt should be here tomorrow.
Yay!
How are you, Scribbles?
Grand Monkey. Ever since I got home from work and I had a salad for lunch, and ever since then, I've been mildly nauseous, like just enough to make me uncomfortable. I have no idea why. The salad was fresh. I don't know if I ate a bad piece of it or something, or if it's another romaine attack. I don't know, but either way, I've just been awfully uncomfortable all afternoon to this point. I don't know why. Just ugh. Just enough to make you feel like if you think about food, you're kind of like ugh. So I don't know. I don't know why that is, but either way, that's how I am, which is really exciting, I suppose. Thank you, Serenity Lotus. Seen the new Spider-Man trailer? Thoughts? Oh, I'm sure we have a few. I'm sure Monkey saw a few too. Let's see. Let's see. I guess we cover that now. It looked like a Spider-Man movie. I called it Spider-Man European Vacation, and somebody cooked up a really cool little joke poster of European Vacation Spider-Man. After I said that, I don't know if that was pre-made or anything. It's tough to tell because it's hard to tell whether the movie takes place before or after Infinity War. I could see it taking place before, and just be sort of like a quasi prequel to all those events. But I don't know. It's like a Mysterio shows up and he's acting kind of like a superhero fighting the bad monster things. But I don't know where he gets his powers from because it doesn't look like he's being an illusionist trickster like in the comic books, but more like he's actually got either alien technology or actual magic. I don't know. Not quite sure.
Yeah, it looked like magic, and that's... I said on Twitter, I think it looks as bad as Homecoming, so...
Thank you, Snowbird. I love the show. Oh, sorry. I love the snow. Okay. Kills all the insects and gets me out of cleaning a Walmart-sized garage bay. Embrace the storm, Scribe. Well, I'm not currently experiencing any storms yet. But
we got a little bit of ice here.
Yeah, it's been frosty here a little bit, but haven't gotten anything that's been horribly so. Well, anyway, yeah, Spider-Man movie... I don't know. I mean, it didn't really excite me in any particular way. It didn't offend me in any particular way either. But then, Monkey's more sensitive to these things. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty neutral. I guess is my reaction to it. The one question I had was whether or not the water monster is a water monster or if it's Hydro Man. But then given the fact that there are several different giant elemental monsters in that trailer, there's at least one of like sand and one of fire, one of water. I assume it's some kind of pattern and not necessarily a Sandman, Hydro Man kind of thing.
Right.
But although some eagle-eyed individual spotted on one point of the trailer that as they're on the water in like the canals or something, on the boat across the way from them taking pictures or whatever is on the boat is printed ASM 212, and Amazing Spider-Man 212 was the first appearance of Hydro Man. So I don't know if that's just an inside joke or if it's indicative of something else. I guess we'll find out at some point. But anyway,
my guess is from the trailer, if you liked the first movie, you'll like the second one.
Yeah, it looks like it's just more of the same. Kind of, sort of. But yeah, so we'll see. Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button if you have not already. And many of you have not. Could we get to 100 likes before the end of the first half hour? We almost made it there last time, just by a smidge. But, if 60 of you just decided to hit that like button, it'd be cool. Thank you, Snubber. Don't forget the time Mysterio killed all the X-Men. Well, he tricked Wolverine into killing all the X-Men. Yes. Which was an amazing twist to Old Man Logan. Spoiler alert. But I didn't know that he was that powerful, because if he was that powerful, he could have been mopping up the floor with everybody for a long time. But anyway. Let's see. Do we have anything else to talk about? Whoa, 42 to 75 in like under a half a minute. Holy cow, guys. That's cool. Keep going. Keep going. Anything else to talk about and or plug before we move on to the schnuzz?
Not that I'm aware of. There's no game stream tonight, so
Okay.
I have nothing else to plug.
Satsu.
I liked Homecoming, so I thought the trailer was cool.
Okay. Well,
I figured nobody asked, so I was
yeah. Well, I'm neutral. Monkeys, and you're looking forward to it. So I guess we kind of cover all the basics. Thank you, Dark Shade. If not for Captain Marvel, I would be excited for Spider-Man. Yeah, Captain Marvel. Spider-Man has my interest more than Captain Marvel does. After one trailer, Spider-Man has more interest in my mind than Captain Marvel, because the Captain Marvel trailers consistently have not made me interested in this character, the portrayal. She's just wooden. The way her dialogue comes out of her mouth is boring and flat. There's no sense of fun to it. And I understand that you can have a superhero movie that's, a bit more grounded and serious, like Winter Soldier and stuff. But I think you have to at least for a character's premiere movie, there has to be some kind of sense of fun to it. And you can earn a more serious entry later on. But nothing about Captain Marvel makes me go, oh, that looks like fun. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm more looking forward to Endgame. One preview of Endgame, and I'm like, I couldn't give a shit less about Captain Marvel.
Endgame, I really want to see.
Yeah, because, and like I was saying, they've earned that kind of anticipation, throughout all the other Marvel movies that came before, plus Infinity War, to this point, to see how it all comes about, what happens and all things, the fate of the characters and all that, and just the setup. The Russo brothers know what they're doing when it comes to making those movies, from Winter Soldier onwards. I don't know who the director of Captain Marvel is, or who put together the trailers or whatever else, but they're not, for me, they're not doing it for me. Thank you, Dark Shade. Oh, no, I meant Captain Marvel's Sue has killed my hype. Oh, yes. Yeah. Everything begins with her hero. A hero. That's what I mean, a hero. Yeah. It might as well be doing an ad for Hillary Clinton's campaign for 2016. That's the first thing I thought when I saw the first trailer.
How mad do you think Hillary's campaign is that they didn't think of that?
Everything begins with a hero. Yeah. Anyway, guys, let's move on to the schnuzz, because a lot of things happened today, a lot of different things, some more interesting than others. First off, the mystery grand jury portion of the Mueller investigation has been revealed.
Oh, what is it?
Apparently, Mueller confirms Kilimnik, a focus of grand jury investigation. I think. Trying to figure out if that's exactly what's going on here, or if this is just another thing. I thought it was, because the way one of the other headlines read, it sounded like this was it's a secret, like, reserve a floor for an entire investigation thing was about. I might be mistaken. Let's find out. Former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort spoke to a federal grand jury last fall about his communications with Konstantin Kilimnik, including regarding an in-person meeting with the Russian associate and an email with him, special counsel Robert Mueller revealed Tuesday. The 31-page filing gives an unprecedented window into Mueller's work with the grand jury, which is typically secret. Maybe that's why I got confused. It's also the first confirmation from prosecutors that Kilimnik is still central to the grand jury's efforts. Based on recent filings from the Mueller team, Kilimnik appears to be at the heart of pieces of Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. The special counsel, I've noticed they haven't used the word meddling as much anymore.
Hey, baby.
It's an interference and not meddling. Thank you, Dark Shade. Did you hear she can time travel in the movie?
No.
I had not heard that. I thought that time travel was only really available to, say, Doctor Strange with the Time Stone. Because once you get into time travel, you kind of open up a whole bunch of doors for bullshit. But who knows? I guess we'll find out. Let's see. The special counsel kept more details about the meeting secret in its Tuesday filings, such as what the in-person meeting was about and when it took place. Mueller's team has been redacting information in its recent court filings to protect other individuals and to keep secret its ongoing investigations, of which there are still multiple in the works. But the special counsel has not redacted Kilimnik's name. Interesting. Mueller also revealed Tuesday that Manafort communicated with Kilimnik beginning on August 2nd, 2016. Okay. Manafort, wait, August 2nd, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Beginning. So well into the campaign. When did the WikiLeaks stuff drop?
Oh, God, I don't remember.
That'd be my first, because like the whole thing about Russian interference started with the whole WikiLeaks deal. If somebody can, our trusted chat, if anybody in there knows when those WikiLeaks first dropped in the campaign, specifically the Podesta emails and all that good stuff, I'm wondering, did that happen before or after the Manafort communications with Kilimnik? I'm assuming August. I think was it after? Because it was really close to the election, within a month or two. So maybe it was after. I don't know. Anyway, if anybody else in the chat knows, let us know. So yeah, the Mueller investigation keeps rolling on, I guess. Still not showing that Trump did anything illegal yet, I guess. I don't know. Difficult to say. But anyway, in other political news, we have a new entrant into the 2020 presidential election.
Oh, who announced today?
Well, per the title of the stream, as I'm making a kind of weird joke about the Gillette ad, Kristen Gillibrand, New York senator, joins the Democratic race for president. Senator Kristen Gillibrand, an outspoken advocate for women's causes and electing more women to office, is entering the 2020 race for the White House herself, becoming the latest candidate to join what is expected to be a crowded Democratic primary to take on President Trump. In an appearance Tuesday on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Ms. Gillibrand, a New York Democrat, said she was forming an exploratory committee to raise money and travel the country for her run. She is scheduled to start campaigning within days, with plans to spend the weekend in Iowa. Quote, I'm going to run for president of the United States because as a young mom, I am going to fight for other people's kids as hard as I would fight for my own, she said. Yeah.
Gillibrand's a young mom?
I according to her.
I'm going to have to look that up. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Let's see. Miss Gillibrand. So she's not married? Okay, single mom? I don't know. Miss Gillibrand has emerged as one of the most forceful critics of the Trump administration in the last 2 years. Really? What about that lady that just said we're going to impeach the motherfucker? She has voted against nearly every significant nominee Mr. Trump has put forward. That's not unique. And rallied opposition to his congressional agenda. So has every other Democrat. In the last 2 months, as she has publicly considered a campaign, she has spoken repeatedly about the need to restore the quote, moral compass, unquote, of the nation. The nation doesn't have a moral compass. Okay.
This bitch is 52 and she's a young mom.
Yeah, we just got that in the next sentence. But Miss Gillibrand, a 52-year-old former corporate lawyer, did I read that correctly? Young mom? Okay. She says, quote, I'm going to run for president of the United States because as a young mom, I am going to fight for... I don't know. Ladies in the chat, is 52 still qualified as a... Now, maybe she meant young mom like she's only just recently become a mom. Maybe that kind of young mom. Like in the role of a mother, she's young.
Well, they had their first kid in 2003.
Oh.
So,
well, never mind then.
So let's do the math. What is she, 52?
52, 2003.
15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, 16 years ago now, technically, but I don't know when the kid was born. So.
She was a mom in her 30s. That is not a young mom. There's no way you're, in any way, you're a young mom, bitch.
Maybe she's speaking as from her experience when she... Well, even when you're 30, you're not quite a young mom.
Um,
When I think young mom, I think like, late teens to mid 20s. That's what I think of a
that's a
young
young
mom.
mom.
Thank you, Cryptic. 22nd of July, 2016. Okay, so the WikiLeaks stuff came out in July. Manafort wasn't talking to Kilimnik until the early August. So if there was, if that's when they determined he started talking to him, then you can't say that there was collusion on timing for the drop of the WikiLeaks stuff. And thank you, Serenity Lotus. Happy birthday, Brianu, or Brian00. I'm not quite sure. Is that somebody in the chat? It is.
Do we have a birthday today?
Brian00. I don't know if that's Brianu or Brian ZZ, or not the ZZ is Z. Not. Is it not? Brian not
00?
Brian00.
Brian.
That's easier.
Hi, how are you today? I says zeros.
Yeah, okay.
00. I hope you're well. I hope you had a wonderful day. And to try to make it even better, this one's for you. And a 1. And a 2. Happy birthday to you.
He said better, Scribe.
Oh, okay.
Happy birthday
to
you.
Slightly better.
Happy birthday, dear 100.
You went back a little bit.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I hope you had a good one.
See, I did like 4 different voices.
You did. You went all over the place there.
Something funny was said. Maniac Man said, "She's trans age, you dumb bigot."
Oh, must be.
There you go. Okay, anyway, moving on. Let's see. Has she said anything about what her agenda will be?
Real quick, Scribe. 17 minutes, 100 likes. That's that
is a record. Hey, thank you guys. Holy cats. Great.
He was just about to yell at me for interrupting him.
Right. I was, but you redeemed yourself, especially on behalf of chat. Thank you, chat. Appreciate it. I'm trying to see. Let's see. Miss Gillibrand is not the first woman or even the first female senator to announce her bid. Well, yeah, we know. Elizabeth Warren, and then there was the Hawaii lady, whose name I can't remember all of a sudden.
Gabbard.
Yeah.
She's a representative, not a senator, yeah.
Okay. Other senators expected to enter the race soon include Cory Booker and Kamala Harris, while Senator Bernie Sanders, former Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr., well, that's very formal, and former Representative Beto O'Rourke are weighing candidacies. Oh, I can't wait for Beto to enter the race.
Robert Francis, you need to join the race.
Robert Francis. Oh, that's Beto's real name, isn't it?
His real name is Robert Francis O'Rourke, and he's
running
around.
A nickname?
It's a little Mexican nickname he's been given as the whitest man on the planet.
Yeah, he does speak fluent Spanish. I've seen him speak Spanish before, so not that I don't know what that means in the long run, but let's see. I'm trying to see if she said anything about her platform in this.
Hate Trump. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah, she said something about she's not afraid of Trump. I'm like, well, I'm not afraid of Trump, and I'm not running against him. I don't care. Okay, well, I guess we have to wait for her to start campaigning to find out what she's all about. In other political news involving female politicians, you want to talk about Brexit?
Oh, sure.
Like, holy shit. British lawmakers crush Theresa May's Brexit deal by historic margin. British lawmakers have soundly rejected Theresa May's Brexit deal in the biggest defeat for any UK government in the modern parliamentary era.
Yeah.
After 200 speeches across 8 days of debate, members of the House of Commons ignored the Prime Minister's final pleas to support her plan and threw it out by 432 votes to 202.
Yep.
That margin of defeat, greater than the previous record set in 1924, means the Prime Minister now faces a deep political crisis with no clear way forward. The opposition Labour Party immediately triggered a vote of no confidence in May's government. Isn't this the second one in like the last 3 months or something?
Yes.
Hoping to capitalize on a perilous moment to force a general election. Acknowledging the scale of the defeat, the Prime Minister said she would allow time for the House of Commons to debate the motion on Wednesday. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn called the defeat, quote, catastrophic, unquote, and said a vote of no confidence would allow the House of Commons to, quote, give its verdict on the sheer incompetence of this government, unquote. But May urged lawmakers to listen to British citizens who voted to leave the EU. Quote, I ask members on all sides of the House to listen to the British people who want this issue settled and to work with the government to do just that, May said. Let's see. Thank you, Snubbirth. Lords of the Night, are you too good for that White House spread? Trump clearly shouldn't have skimped the foie gras with snails. You're talking about the hamburgers and fries and everything?
Yeah, did you see everybody yesterday was trying to make fun of Trump for that, and then the Clemson quarterback came out that this was the coolest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have fucking Big Macs with the fucking president.
Yeah.
They're about to start investigating him now to see if he's a Russian agent.
You know, one of the things they always said was, you know, George W. Bush, he's the kind of guy you'd like to have a beer with. Imagine sitting down having burgers with Donald Trump, President of the United States. I mean, even if you don't like the guy, you know how crazily epic that would be? Just be sitting in the White House eating cheeseburgers with the president.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd do that. You know, I didn't vote for the guy, but I'd sit there in the White House eating cheeseburgers with Donald Trump just to say I'd done it. Can you imagine having that story to tell for the rest of your life? I ate cheeseburgers with the president of the United States in the White House, and it was Donald Trump.
What I really like though is the "we hate the rich" or anybody with more money than us party, talking about how cheap he was being when they constantly bitch about the high class lifestyle that they live every day at the expense of poor people.
Let's see. So regarding Brexit, what happens now? May now has 24 hours to save her government. If she loses the vote of no confidence, it makes a general election more likely. If she survives, however, May said she would follow a two-stage process to break the Brexit impasse. First, she offered cross-party talks with lawmakers and as an attempt to try and figure out a way forward. May promised the government would approach those talks in a constructive manner. Then, if a consensus emerges, she would take a revised plan to the European Union. But there isn't much time. Britain is due to leave the EU on March 29th, whether a deal is in place or not. Quote, every day that passes without this issue being resolved means more uncertainty, more bitterness, and more rancor, May said. It seems likely that May will survive the confidence vote. Okay. The Democratic Unionist Party, DUP, the Northern Irish party that props up May's minority government, said it would work with the Prime Minister to secure a better deal. DUP leader DUP leader Arlene Foster welcomed Tuesday's vote, saying the UK Parliament had, quote, acted in the best interest of the entire United Kingdom. And it goes on for a bit. So there you go. I don't understand. She's probably one of the most controversial and tumultuous prime ministers I've ever heard of in my lifetime. I mean, next to maybe, I don't even know if the Iron Lady had this much problem.
No.
For government. Tony Blair certainly didn't.
But this is a lot bigger issue than they've ever dealt with in my lifetime.
That's true too, and it is basically a single issue administration for her, effectively. So, but yeah, if they don't come up with a better deal by the end of March, it just happens anyway. And the fear is that it'll cause all types of catastrophe in the markets and the economy, and they won't know what to do. And I don't understand all the ins and outs of it. My question is, well, how did it operate before the EU?
Well, what'll happen is if this goes to a no-deal Brexit, it's not like Europe is just going to be like, well, fuck it, England doesn't exist anymore. Right. Then they'll have to sit down at the table and negotiate as separate entities. Because right now, right now, what keeps being forced on May, and May keeps trying to force on the British people, is Brexit light.
Right.
It's basically, okay, you're your own company, or your own country, but you still have to follow all our rules and stuff.
Right.
And that's where the other MPs are like, no.
Yeah.
So a no deal at this point actually works out for the best, and it'll cause a couple of months, maybe a year even, of some financial issues as they do work out deals with every country themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But in the long run, I think it's better for them, honestly.
Yeah, I don't understand. You know, the vote was to leave the EU, not to leave the EU in name only.
Right.
So I to this, and again, I don't understand all the ins and outs of British politics or anything else, or the you know, the perils or the economic connections and everything. But I don't see how, in light of that referendum, you could ever think to succeed in something that wasn't a complete severance, you know, a peaceful severance, maybe one where you still sort of establish, okay, well, once we leave, this is how things are going to work, but not that we said, I mean, the whole idea was we're not giving over our sovereignty to this other conglomerate. But if you're still going to do that in any deal that you set up, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. So I don't understand. I don't understand what she was thinking she was going to accomplish throughout this entire process by still offering up something that didn't just say we are Britain, we are independent of the EU, but we are a neighbor and partner with the EU. Just say something like that. I don't get how that's so difficult.
Well, you have to remember, and I only know this because of Bear, she is not a pro-Brexit politician.
Sure.
So she's been tasked with making the Brexit deal, and it's something she doesn't even really believe in. So for her, I mean, in her world, I mean, I bet it would make more sense. Hey, the softest Brexit we could get would be best, because she didn't want to leave the EU in the first place.
Right.
So I get what you're saying, but if you're looking at it from her point, it's what she should be, and it's what you'd expect her to be pushing.
I could almost see the logic behind having somebody who's against it in charge of having it done, because you don't want to have a complete zealot going against it. You want to have at least some kind of objectivity on it. You know, so it's sort of like the first thing I thought of when I just said that was you remember Gladiator, and how Marcus Aurelius comes to Maximus and says, "I'm going to make you my heir, essentially, after I die." And he says, I don't want that. And he says, that's exactly why you must lead. You know, it's because you don't want it. You don't want the power, etc. So that kind of, I can understand how that might have made sense, but at a certain point, you have to say you represent the will of the people, not this. So if you want to be cautious about it, if you don't want to like charge into it headlong without thinking first, great, because you're hesitant because of your former position, but you have your marching orders, carry them out. Anyway, that's how I would see it, but I'm not British, so what do I know? The last story I've got, some crazy things happened in the trial against El Chapo today. El Chapo Guzman associate claims the kingpin paid $100 million bribe to the former Mexican president.
Say that again?
I'll get there in a second, because Johnny Hellcat has given me a $5 bribe to talk about him. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. This is a super chat. Better than being blank. I suppose that is true from a certain point of view. I'll read the headline again. El Chapo Guzman associate claims kingpin, i.e. Guzman, paid $100 million bribe to the former Mexican president.
Oh.
A former close personal aide to Joaquin El Chapo Guzman testified Tuesday that the drug kingpin once paid a $100 million bribe to former Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto. I'm probably fucking up the last name. The stunning testimony came from Alex Cifuentes. Cifuentes. Every time I see that name, what do you think? What do you think of, Monkey?
Nothing.
Well, I think of Victor Cifuentes from Law and Order. I mean, not Law and Order, L.A. Law. Sorry, Jimmy Smith's character.
I didn't watch a lot of Law and Order. Or sorry, you just did it to me.
I did it to you.
I watched a lot of Law and Order. I didn't watch much of L.A. Law.
I remember there was like a summer or something where there was some channel that was just running like every day there were like 2 or 3 episodes of LA Law. And so I saw the entire series in a couple of weeks or something. Yeah, it was a funny show. It was actually a pretty good show for its time. Anyway, Alex Cifuentes, a Colombian trafficker who once served as Guzman's secretary and close personal aide. After 3 days on the stand in the Brooklyn federal courtroom, the bombshell revelation was only brought up in court by defense attorney Jeffrey Lichtman, not the prosecutors. Representatives for Peña Nieto have not responded to CNN for a request of comment. Cifuentes had been testifying about 2 years spent living with Guzman in the mountains of Sinaloa as the fugitive kingpin eluded the army. While previous testimony implicated lower-level Mexican politicians, as well as police and military officials in the vast corruption network that facilitated Guzman's cartel trafficking, Tuesday's accounts struck at the highest levels of Mexican political life. Under cross-examination by defense lawyer Lichtman, who referred to transcripts of debriefings Cifuentes had with U.S. authorities, Cifuentes alleged that a $100 million bribe was paid to Peña Nieto, who was president from 2012 to 2018. During opening statements in November, Lichtman claimed that Peña Nieto and former presidents of Mexico, quote, received hundreds of millions of dollars in bribes from his organization, unquote. A spokesman for the former president at the time denied the accusation in a statement posted on Twitter. Quote, the government of Enrique Peña Nieto persecuted, captured, and extradited the criminal Joaquin Guzman Loera? The accusations made by his lawyer are completely false and defamatory. Well, follow the money. If he made a $100 million bribe to the guy, it had to go somewhere. Unless it's like all in cash, I guess. But anyway, if that's true, what do?
Arrest him?
Well, would Mexico arrest him? I guess the new president might. Because I hear from reliable sources that the new president, as soon as he took office, all corruption in Mexico ended.
Sure.
On day one of his presidency, all corruption in Mexico will end. I think it was something to the effect of what he promised. But I'm sure that happened. I'm really sure that happened. But anyway, that's all the stories I had. Did you guys have anything?
No, sir. I wasn't on the computer much.
Satsu?
No, nothing noteworthy.
All right. Well then, guys, we're going to move on to MSS News. If you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but we'll do our best because you guys send us so many that we just run out of time because you guys are so awesome. Let's see. This one comes from Judge Death. Ocasio-Cortez to join House panel overseeing financial sector. She couldn't afford an apartment without waiting for her first paycheck to clear.
Yeah.
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is slated to join the committee leading the House's oversight of U.S. banks, lenders, and financial markets. I wonder if she knows how to do long division, honestly. Ocasio-Cortez has been recommended by Democratic leaders for a spot on the House Financial Services Committee, a Democratic source told The Hill on Tuesday. The full roster of Democrats joining the committee is expected to be released as soon as Tuesday night. Ocasio-Cortez told Hill.tv in November that she has expressed interest in the Financial Services Panel to the Democratic Steering and Policy Committee, which doles out seats on House committees. Politico reported last week that Ocasio-Cortez was poised to win a spot on the Financial Services Panel. Representative Maxine Waters, chairwoman of the House Financial Services Committee, has pledged to fight against the Trump administration's rollbacks of post-crisis bank rules. The assignment will give the influential Democratic freshman. Is she influential yet?
No.
Not there. I would like to say, honestly, I would like to see her demonstrate her influence to actually get something substantive done. Irate Bear. I can't say that word without also following it up with Irate Bear.
That's pretty cool, though, to like gain recognition for being influential by doing nothing.
Well, what are Twitter influencers?
Yeah, but you can point to things that they've done.
Well, tweeting.
Yeah, but for a long period of time, she's not influential or having done anything in the job she's getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's super influential for it. Like,
I want to see her demonstrate that, though. I want to see her, like, go do some backroom arm twisting to get something passed. Anything.
oh yeah,
I don't really. I mean, any, or just to get someone to sponsor a bill or something. Just, it doesn't even necessarily have to get through the through committee or something. Just to see her do it, because, like I say, I'm Ocasio-Cortez now, and I can do this, that, and the other thing. And if she actually did it, I'd be fucking impressed. I'd also be really wary of anybody who submitted to that, as to whether or not they actually have any backbone of their own. Thank you, Snubberth. She is influential, Monkey, in the most ass backwards way, but still.
She's
she's popular.
she's got a media profile. She's not influential. That's different.
Yeah, influential means that you have like done some things to actively change something, like tangibly.
Yeah, you've earned some cachet amongst your peers that you could actually get something done, or go chat with somebody and convince them to take your side. That kind of thing. You got to do that first to sort of prove that you're influential in some fashion. Anyway, this one comes from Massive Dynamics. Woman who failed frontline infantry fitness test was given a pass by the Army until furious male soldiers who had completed the course staged a rebellion. Holy cow.
That is sexism at its finest right there.
A female soldier was allowed to continue on an Army selection course even though she failed a vital fitness test, triggering a rebellion among male troops who had passed. Corporal Daisy Doherty was hoping to become one of the Army's first female infantry instructors following the landmark decision last year to let women join combat units and special forces. The first stage in the selection process required her to prove her fitness by completing an 8-mile march in under 2 hours over arduous terrain while carrying a heavy pack and rifle. Despite being a qualified personal fitness trainer and a member of the Army's athletics squad, the 29-year-old took too long to finish the challenge. Under course rules, she should have been immediately ejected and sent back to her unit. But Corporal Doherty, the only woman on the course, and 14 others who also failed, were told they could carry on, sparking a furious backlash among the 75 soldiers who passed the test. The soldiers rounded on commanders at the infantry battle school in Brecon, Mid Wales, this is British, by the way, accusing them of lowering standards to suit women. When top brass refused to back down, troops contacted the Mail on Sunday to expose what they claimed was, quote, positive discrimination, unquote. Well, it's just discrimination. But whatever. Fearing a public backlash if they allowed her result to stand, commanders backed down and asked Corporal Doherty and the other soldiers who failed the march to leave. Last night, a soldier on the course said, quote, the blokes were livid because it is written in black and white in the course handbook that if you fail the march, you're pulled off the PSBC, the Platoon Sergeant's Battle Course, immediately. There is no review. Commanders wanted to get Corporal Doherty through the course almost at any cost, even if she wasn't fit enough, and even if that meant leniency being shown to weaker male soldiers who also failed the march. We couldn't believe we're still on the base and attending classes. We couldn't believe they were still on the base and attending classes. It took a revolt among the troops and some people going to the press to get this stopped. Let's see. It goes on for a bit, but that's the bulk of it. So, well, good on the Army for changing their mind and sticking to what the rules are. But it's stupid that they had to be basically shamed into doing it.
Yeah, how do we get to that point?
Well, this is Britain.
I know.
This is the country that, you remember the Rotherham fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, we can't arrest those guys because then we'd be called racist. So we're just going to let them continue to groom and rape little girls because we don't want to be called racist. And in this instance, we don't want to be called sexist.
Right. Girls get raped every day. I'm sure they'll get over it, but that's nowhere near compared to the horrible strife we'd go through being called racist.
Yeah, God forbid. All right, this one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Woman arrested, man hit in face with Kentucky Fried Chicken box.
Okay.
I'm confused. Okay. A woman was arrested after a customer told police he was hit in the face with a box of chicken during his visit to a Kentucky Fried Chicken in Northwest Jacksonville, according to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Officers were sent to the 53-year-old man's home, where he told police he caught the confrontation on video. According to investigators, the clip showed the customer waiting on his order at the drive-through window outside the KFC on Edgewood Avenue near the intersection of Avenue B. Police said the customer was upset with the KFC employee for not wearing gloves while preparing the food. After a back-and-forth verbal disagreement, the employee tossed the customer's box of food, striking him in the face.
Jesus.
Excuse me. According to the sheriff's office, an officer arrested Sade Renee Simmons, 30, while she was working at the KFC. She was charged with battery. Well, yeah. So just so employees of KFC know, it's finger licking good is for the customers. Just so you know. Wear gloves. That is kind of gross. That's not a story. That's an ad. Okay. I know I usually just say I only do one story from each person. I'll go a little longer tonight because I come down to the next Colleen Bernier story, and A, it's a redhead, and B, the word threesome is in the title of the article. So okay. I'm partial to redheads. Threesomes? Anyway, woman's apparent threesome revel. I don't want to pay for your fucking subscription. You're going to do it again, aren't you? You're going to put up another ad the second I start talking again about the article, aren't you? Do it. Go ahead. No? Okay. A 26-year-old woman was arrested after her boyfriend said she struck him after saying she had a threesome, according to an affidavit. So it was like revenge. Erica Lux of the 1500 block of Northeast Dove Avenue in Stewart was jailed on a battery charge in connection with the New Year's Day incidents. A man who said he was Locke's boyfriend told Martin County Sheriff's deputies Locke was, quote, out all night drinking and abusing narcotics. The boyfriend said Erica stated she slept with another man during a threesome upon returning home that morning. And then the article tells us what a threesome is.
Okay.
Thank you, William Savage. What a wuss couldn't handle a greasy box to the face. Well, you know, assault is assault. Let's see. The boyfriend said they argued as he confronted Locke, quote, about having relations with other people. He said he threw money towards Locke, and Locke kicked and slapped him. The woman Locke brought home told investigators Locke asked the boyfriend to leave several times. She said the boyfriend called her a piece of shit.
I am so confused about what's going on here.
Yeah, so she came home from a party, told him that she fucked a couple of people, and then he threw money at her, and then she kicked him, and then he charged her with assault, I guess.
All right.
So, okay, I thought it was, I didn't know what the story was. I don't know what I expected, but anyway. This one comes from Chicago Mike. And it's about another Mike. Jersey Shore's Mike the Situation Sorrentino to report to federal prison for tax fraud.
Onision. I mean,
Situation. Yeah, the situation. So he got caught up in the same thing that Wesley Snipes and Al Capone got caught up in.
Yeah.
Jersey Shore cast member Mike the Situation Sorrentino is trading life on the beach for life behind prison bars. Oh, sorry, for time behind prison bars. I thought you got life? Wait a second. The 36-year-old is scheduled to report to Otisville Federal Correctional Institution in upstate New York on Tuesday to begin serving an 8-month sentence for tax fraud. 8 months. Well, he can work out and get his abs all set up again. Sorrentino and his brother Mark pleaded guilty last January to similar charges. They were charged in 2014 with tax offenses related to nearly $9 million in income. Okay. $9 million? Doing what?
TV, man.
I guess. Sorrentino's prison address indicates he'll be housed in the satellite camp, which is for minimum security male offenders. He appeared on all 6 seasons of the reality show that ran from 2009 to 2012 and followed the lives of rowdy housemates in the New Jersey town of Seaside Heights. I never watched a single episode of that show, I'm proud to say.
I've never seen more than a few minutes, but my son loved it.
I never watched a single moment. The most I got was like things talking about it, like other news shows or something, or like if I caught a commercial about it. Other than that, never watched a moment, and I'm very proud of it. Let's see. We talked about this yesterday, I think. Nancy Pelosi's office getting camped out on.
Oh yeah. By
Loomer.
Loomer.
Yeah,
Loomer.
Let's see. This one's from Frosted Glass. Blah, blah, blah. Britain's first transgender family is now transitioning their 5-year-old son to female. Okay. Thank you, Cryptic. He probably did it for all the snooky. Oh. I did it all for the snooky. Come on, the snooky. What? Anyway. Just ask Irate Bear about his Limp Biscuit days the next time you guys see him on Ghost Poo or something. He'll be very happy you asked him about that. Let's see. A family dubbed Britain's, quote, first transgender family, unquote, has announced that they are encouraging the gender transition of their 5-year-old son, Jaden. According to the family, Jaden, a biological male, likes dresses and hates, quote, everything about being a boy, unquote. Is that because he does or because he's being encouraged?
Oh, I bet you it has nothing at all to do with encouragement or discouragement in either way.
The little boy's, quote unquote, and that's in the article here, they quote unquote this, stepdad, Greg Rogers, is a 27-year-old biological female who now identifies as male. The child's mother is a 21-year-old woman named Jody. Is she just a woman? Both Jody and Greg are furious that concerned citizens, referred to as trolls by many UK-based outlets, have reported them to social services for apparent child abuse. The couple, however, maintain Jaden, who is on track to medically transition in a few years.
Oh, fuck you.
Is properly cared for. Quote, we've had people saying we're using Jaden for attention and that she just wants to be a girl because I changed sex, Greg told the Daily Record. It's ridiculous. Jaden knows nothing about my past. She just knows me as dad. Greg claims their 5-year-old son is, quote, adamant she is a girl, unquote, citing the boy's affinity for dressing up as a princess from the popular Disney film Frozen. Quote, they say it's cruel we let her wear a dress, but is it not more cruel to do nothing when you've got a kid who's so adamant she's a girl, she's ripping her hair off and banging her head off the walls?
Cut the boy's hair.
What?
Biologically a boy, right?
Yes.
And the biological boy hates his hair so much he's banging his head into the wall,
Okay.
and that's why he needs to wear a dress? That makes no fucking sense.
If your 5-year-old is tearing his own hair out and banging his head against the wall, I don't think your 5-year-old, and not to say that there would be any 5-year-old that would be, but I don't think your 5-year-old is in any position to be making declarative statements about their gender that you should take seriously.
No.
Because you should be taking that kid to therapy. And in fact, I'm not even sure that you should be in charge of such a child if that's what's happening in your own home.
How about this?
Oh, my God.
Let the kid just be what he is, because they said he's on the track to medically transition
In a few years, whatever
in
that.
a few years. Okay,
He's 5. Like, what's a few? Five more years? Like when he's 10, when he's 12? Like before
even if you double his age, he's only 10 at that point.
Oh.
The fuck are you talking about? These are the kind of goddamn people that shouldn't have kids. First of all, notice the only male role model this boy has is somebody who was born a female.
And sounds like a zealot. Okay. Thank you, nope. So your perfectly sane child is harming himself. Well, that's what I mean. If that guy was being serious, if he was describing things that are actually happening in his home, that doesn't make having Child Protective Services look into him any less important.
No.
Okay? Even if the only story was, he thinks he likes dressing up and we're going to transition him in a couple of years, that's bad enough. But then to say, I wouldn't even joke about he's tearing out his hair and banging his head against the wall because he so wants to be a girl. That's no. What? Okay. Anyway, the UK's nuts. And anybody saying otherwise is a troll, apparently. This one comes from William Savage. Oh, it's not actually an article. It's a link to a Twitter post. Okay. I'll read the abstract here. Democrats disavow Women's March over allegations of anti-Semitism. Well, the allegations aren't really allegations when you look at who the founders of Women's March are hanging out with and praising. But anyway, ahead of the annual Women's March on Saturday, January 19th, the Democratic National Committee joined several civil rights groups that have distanced themselves from the march's organizers. On Monday, co-presidents Bob Bland and Tamika Mallory defended themselves from accusations of anti-Semitism linked to their support for the Nation of Islam's Louis Farrakhan. Thank you, Sanguine. Those are at best symptoms of the tism not being trans.
Yep.
If the boy evaluated and he might be okay in the long run, you'll probably need to get him a hugger to limit his outbursts. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The whole thing just sounds like a madhouse.
Boy needs a man. Teach him how to be a man.
Even if the kid wasn't self-harming, and I'm taking the father at his word that the kid is self-harming. Even if the kid wasn't self-harming, everything else described is like, he's 5. He probably still likes to eat dirt and thinks he's going to be a dinosaur when he grows up. Stop. Anyway, yeah, the Democrats disavow the Women's March. Well, they're probably right to, honestly. Let's see.
Well, it doesn't serve them any purpose anymore either. So,
pretty not. Yeah, at this stage, not really. Especially when you've got like so many female candidates running for president on the Democratic Party. You don't need any more proof that the Democratic Party supports women.
Yep, they served their purpose. Their last march didn't get nearly as much coverage as the first march, which, of course, because that's how it happens. And then you have stupid things like the California one that they called off it because of
too many white people.
Yeah, it's time to cut your losses.
Thank you, Point Curation. Autism and trans affinity has an unironic link. See Doc Amate on YouTube. I don't know who Doc Amate is, but okay. I'll keep it in mind. Doc Amate. Is that a pun some way?
Not that I'm aware of.
I was thinking. I almost want to say documentary when I see that. But anyway, this one comes from the Lion Patriot and is very good news for Moonbase. Seeds have sprouted on the moon for the first time.
Wow.
China's miniature biosphere experiment has yielded sprouting cotton seeds. Okay, and they are the first plants to germinate on the moon, an important first step in creating a viable, self-sustaining lunar colony. China's Chang'e 4, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, lander arrived on the moon's far side on January 3rd, 2018. Okay, among its cargo is a miniature lunar biosphere developed by scientists at Chongqing University. This experiment consists of a 7-inch long airtight container filled with soil, air, water, various seeds, yeast, and fruit fly eggs. Together, these components are meant to kickstart a simple ecosystem, the purpose of which is to test the viability of sustaining a future colony on the moon. A built-in heat system facilitates growth and prevents the biological material from freezing. An image released today by the China National Space Administration showed green cotton shoots reaching upward from a lattice inside the canister. And there's a little picture on the article, and I will put the link in the chat for anybody who wants to look at the first of the moon plants.
I'd be more impressed if they grew in the open air.
We're getting closer. Let's see. I will do just a couple more here. Do you guys have much YouTube stuff?
Well, there's the fight stuff tonight.
Well, that's internet fucketry.
Oh, I know, but I'm thinking of what time I'll need. Okay. You could get a couple more. I think it would be fine.
Okay, let's. 1 second.
Quinn says Fright Power was right. The Chinese are taking over.
Well, I mean, if they build a moon base before we do, it's our own fault. Really, we don't have any excuse after so many. We were the first ones to land, and we haven't done shit since the last time we were there to try to, increase our presence on the moon. Thank you, Benjamin Allen. National debt is #1 threat to national security. Damn Bill's trying to snatch my crops. I'm missing something. Am I missing something?
Probably.
Okay. Thank you, Sanguine. I'm going to laugh if the first people to land on the moon to work on the mini biosphere are black. Yeah, I'll tell you, a joke came to mind when I read that first sentence, or the first couple lines of that story, but I kept it to myself. Let's see. Both George Mason, and Rambler sent us this story, so I'll just click on the one here. It regards an audio clip, but CNN analyst accuses Fox News radio host of white privilege. Then she learns he's black. Before we get to that, Jenna P., thank you. Monkey feeling better about men. Dr. Pepper money for scribbles. Are you feeling better about men, Monkey?
No.
Oh. Maybe about men's prospects after the Gillette commercial or something. I'm not quite sure.
I don't know what that's in reference to exactly.
Jenna P., clarify, please. But thank you. Dr. Pepper money is going into the Pepper Bank. I just made that up. I have a Pepper Bank. Okay, so this is from ilovemyfreedom.org, but the sound clip has been posted several different places. Welcome to 2019, where you can be accused of white privilege even when you're black. Yes, folks, Fox News radio host David Webb was speaking to CNN analyst Ariva Martin when she boldly declared that Webb was a benefactor of white privilege. I think you mean beneficiary. Well, no, I guess they're kind of the same thing, aren't they? No. Your beneficiary, you receive it. Your benefactor, you give it. Like if I have a benefactor, it's somebody who's supporting me. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Chad, if I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll correct me. Moving on. Little did she know, Webb is black. It all started during a debate on his radio show about job qualifications and race. Quote, that's a whole another long conversation about white privilege, the things that you have the privilege of doing that people of color don't have the privilege of, said the radical CNN analyst. Quote, how do I have the privilege of white privilege? Webb shot back. Quote, David, by virtue of being a white male, you have white privilege, Martin said. Ariva, I hate to break it to you, but you should have been better prepped. I'm black. See, you went to white privilege. Quote, this is the falsehood in this. You went immediately with an assumption. You're talking to a black man who started out in rock radio in Boston, who crossed the paths into hip hop, rebuilding one of the greatest black stations in America, and went on to work for Fox News, where I'm told apparently blacks aren't supposed to work, and yet you come with this assumption and you go to white privilege. That's actually insulting, Webb concluded. Quote, my people gave me wrong information, Martin apologized. That's not an apology.
Wait.
That's not an apology. That's throwing somebody else under the bus. That's not an apology.
She has people who tell her the race of the folks she's talking to?
I guess so. That's the race of the person I'm talking to. Oh my God, that's amazing.
You're a fucking racist, you dirty bitch, and you got caught live.
Let's see. Jenna P says, Monkey, you were really upset the Gillette commercial taken away or making fun of boys being boys, ranting Monkey. Taken away?
I ranted about it, and then I had a stream about it this morning.
Yeah.
No different than anything else I've bitched about.
Okay. I think we're going to call it there, guys. I know there's a lot more stories, but the show must go on, as it were. And as you know, and as a lot of you are also supportive of, this show has a format, and we must stick to it one way, shape, or form. So with that being said, thank you guys for all the stories. On to YouTube time. Satsu, what did you do today?
Well, I did a video on the Gillette situation after fucking going back and forth and ranting with people on Twitter. I decided to sit back and think about it a bit more objectively. And I gave my honest view on the whole situation. And if you guys want to see that, that's available for you guys to check it out. And then I did a first impressions after finally getting a chance to play Resident Evil. I talked about my views on the game and what I thought about it and what I'm anticipating going forward. So 2 videos for you to watch. One on 2 cents plus, one on Satsu 2 cents. Go check them
out. Breaking news. Really? Okay. A brand new Ghostbusters film set in the same world as the 1984 original is officially in the works.
Wait,
Oh, yeah?
the reboot was so bad they're going back to the original?
Entertainment Weekly, which broke the news, reveals that the film will be directed by Jason Reitman, who's found plenty of success with his own career, Tully, young adult, up in the air, Juno, but also happens to be the son of original Ghostbusters director Ivan Reitman. Calling himself the first Ghostbusters fan and recalling his visits to the set as a little kid, Reitman told EW that, quote, "I wanted to make a movie for all the other fans. This is the next chapter in the original franchise. It is not a reboot. What happened in the 80s happened in the 80s, and this is set in the present day." Though there's no word on if any OG Ghostbusters stars will return, Reitman, who co-wrote the screenplay with Gil Keenan, further teased, quote, "wonderful surprises and new characters," though he made it clear that we won't be seeing any of the brilliant actresses who started Paul Feig's 2016 reboot. Quote, "This new movie will follow the trajectory of the original film."
Okay. I mean, it could still be terrible, but whatever. That's fine.
Thank you, Chicago Mike. Scribe sticking to the show's format. How strange. Sarcastic tone. Oh, I wasn't supposed to read that last one out loud. Sorry. You ever see those movies where like they read the stage directions out loud and it gets on film? Yeah, those are always funny. I just did that. It's funny. Disappointed. Anyway, Monkey, what were you up to today?
Well, it was really, really early in the morning. I did the Monkey in the morning and just took the rest of the day kind of off.
Yeah, you did a 2 a.m. deal or something.
Yeah, that's the kind of the time we've been on. We're actually talking about maybe nailing that down as our time. It works out well for me and Dax most of the time, so we'll see. But yeah, it was all about the Gillette thing and how men are treated in general in society and the feminization of men. It was a good talk, and we talked about boobs.
Oh, good. I enjoy that as well.
Because we are men, and so we had to talk about boobs.
We're men. We're men in tights.
Tights. Sleep, Monkey, you need sleep. I slept right after the thing. I had to because I was dizzy as fuck. But
yeah, and by the way, guys, apparently at the end of every show, Monkey gives me a one-fingered salute.
I do indeed.
Yeah, he loves me that much that every time I sign off, he just like raises that finger.
It's not that finger. I told you, it's an actual salute.
I know. I'm just trying to rile up things. Maybe we can have like a Tonka off or something. Generate one out of thin air just for clicks.
I have to address this, and I mentioned this. I think it was on one of the Monkey in the Morning streams. There's a lot of people who tell me I need sleep and stuff like that. And Jenna, I get it. I appreciate that you guys worry that much about me. I sleep when I can. I really do.
All right. As for myself, I recorded the audio for my next video. It's going to be the next entry in the Expatriate Games series concerning a representative from Texas talking about how walls don't work, amongst other things. It's a relatively brief video, so it'll be a nice departure from the usual TEDx type stuff. I like to take a break, so to speak, after I do a TEDx talk to do, if I'm going to do any videos, try to do things that are a little bit more concise, shorter, less trudging through inane quasi-academic nonsense. But yeah, so the audio's done, so I just have to start the assembly. If I have a very productive day tomorrow, I might have it out on Thursday, but we'll see. So at least certainly before the week is out, Although I would be surprised if I didn't have it out before the weekend. But we'll see. Otherwise, internet fucketry time. I know Monkey's got lots to say. What was that? Hello?
Satsu, was that you?
Satsu?
Hopefully we didn't lose Satsu.
Or he knocked his microphone on the ground. Okay, well, under the assumption that we didn't lose Satsu, at least for the moment, I'm going to make sure I don't have any crazy fucketry that I've forgotten I talked about earlier today. Oh, I will promote the fact that J.L. Giles, who does Lovecraft comics, he put out a call today, as he often does, and says, "Hey, what comic book character should I do a sketch of?" And the last couple of times he's done this, I've suggested a particular character that I'm a big fan of, but I missed the boat the last couple of times. But this time, I won the quote unquote quasi contest. And Terror from the comic book Terror Incorporated from Marvel Comics, he did a sketch of Terror from Terror Incorporated, and it looks great. And I put it up on my Twitter, and I shared it out. And if you don't know who Terror is from Terror Incorporated, all I got to say is that the first 2 or 3 issues of his solo comic are some of the best horror that Marvel put out in the 90s. Like before people would get so squeamish about such things and try to tone it down. It was really good.
By the way.
I was just about
what
to
did you
text
do?
you.
What happened?
Nothing. I got up and the cable for my controller was like, I had somehow got my foot wrapped in it. So when I went to run to the bathroom real quick, it shit didn't go right.
Okay. Oh yeah, and then my only other thing is they put out a new brief trailer for Captain Marvel today, a little internet trailer. And sorry?
Satsu, you may need to unplug your mic again. People are saying they're hearing a wind sound.
Yeah, there's the wind sound again.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, guys, Satsu's mic is a wind machine. Monkey thought it was him until I told him it was also me, so it's also Satsu. It's basically Satsu's fault. See if he comes back. It's all fixed.
Is that better?
Testing, testing, testing. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so anyway, the Captain Marvel little mini trailer dropped, and I said, everything begins with an expressionless face. Because that's all you see in the trailer. And I had someone respond to that. They just came in and said, and I put hashtag Captain Marvel, and they said, assholes will be assholes. And I said, 'tis true. That was my internet fucketry for today. So what do you guys got?
I don't know. I've been going back and forth with people about this Gillette commercial thing, but I've said my piece. So if you're interested, you can go to Twitter and look at that shit. Although the Twitter stuff was initial reaction, the video I did is more of a level-headed approach, taking a lot of things into consideration. So whichever one you favor. I know people like drama, so if you prefer drama as opposed to it being looked at as a whole, then go to Twitter. If you want to see my actual opinions, then go to the YouTube one. But that's pretty much all I really got into today. And laughing at fucking those Trump memes about the food he bought and shit.
Monkey, you have nothing to talk about, of course.
If you want my actual opinion on the Gillette commercial, you can listen to last night's stream for the first hour and a half of it.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's fairly similar to the reaction you got last night. The first one I have today, it's the first thing I saw when I logged on. The tweet is gone.
Uh-oh.
And I feel I may have played a part in that. And I apologize to Zach Ford, you thin-skinned little bitch.
Who's Zach Ford?
He's the guy who made the tweet.
Oh, okay. I thought he was a celebrity or something.
Apparently some woman was getting mugged, and she pulled out a gun and killed her mugger.
Okay.
She was being mugged at gunpoint, by the way.
Okay.
And this is all caught on camera.
Wow.
And Mr. Zach here, he's like, I can't believe that conservatives are cheering for this. The the punishment for robbery isn't death. I'm like, you're right. It's not. It's not. However, this was a woman who was put in life danger. I mean, this was mortal danger. And just because he was asking for her wallet at the beginning doesn't mean that's all he was going to do to her. She defended herself, and I do cheer for that. I'm not glad he's dead, but of the two, if one of them had to be hurt, I'm glad it was him. He's the criminal. I might have said it a little different on Twitter.
Is the punishment for being robbed death?
Apparently, that's all right.
Yeah, apparently that's a risk willing to be taken. Or just fuck me. Seriously, you just
yeah.
Thank you, Connor Johnson. I saw Mary Poppins Returns and it was excellent. All right. I'm always wary of Disney and sort of recycling their classics in some way, because everything I heard about Mary Poppins Returns is that it was essentially Mary Poppins all over again, which I guess, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. But it's supposed to be a Disney movie, so whatever.
No one nowhere say, what if the mugger robbed her of her life? Exactly. So I have no sympathy for him. I don't. His family, sure. I'm not happy he's dead, but I'm happy it was him if it had to be one of them.
And she couldn't possibly know what he was going to do. Somebody points a gun at you, that is a threat against your life, Yep. I mean, first and foremost, that's assault with a deadly weapon, even if they don't actually pull the trigger, and even if the gun is unloaded in most places. So as soon as someone points a gun at you, you have no reason not to believe they have every intention of using it, because that's the only purpose for pointing a gun at a person, is to harm you. So, yeah, she did everything that she should have done in that situation, given the circumstances.
I shot that motherfucker right in the neck, and he died. Oops.
Yeah.
Then I saw this really fucking horrible trailer. Apparently it's Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man. I'm like, that sounds like some kind of indie comedy that I'd find like on Netflix at 11 o'clock at night.
Then I have several of the Gillette ad ones that I have to talk about. But we'll get, there's two of those. So let's do this first. Congressman Rashida Tlaib. I don't know how you say that.
Tlaib. Let's just say it's
Tlaib. Okay.
I think it's about as close as we're going to get.
Recently had dinner with a Palestinian activist called Samir Kuntar, or Kunter, who's a hater of Israel and the Jews.
Surprise, surprise.
It's like these people didn't know Muslims and Jews don't get along. If you ask some of our Jewish Congress people what they honestly think about like Palestine, I'm sure you'll get an angry response there. But everybody's acting like that Muslims hanging out with like radical Muslims is new. Well, no, not every Muslim is a radical, but there tends to be the ones at the top, the ones that we see on TV and stuff. Miss Sarsour, for instance, they are radically anti-Semitic. I don't know where the disconnect is there.
Well, the disconnect is before, like, those differences that these people had, like the religious differences or whatever, people typically didn't care about that stuff. But because now the general standard is to like shame people out of existence or to make them feel bad for any disagreement that they have with any person or any view that they could possibly have. Like now, more like the scope has been widened. So like these people who have always had historical issues with like other people and been outspoken about it, now it's just like, well, that's socially unacceptable now. Like you can't, even if you feel that way, even if it's a part of your religion, it's not allowed. You can't say that stuff.
Well, you're right. And that's why you don't hear Jewish members of the political class up there talking about, the deep hatred between Jews and Palestine and Muslims dating back more than a century. Same with Christians. You don't hear them. But on the other side, I mean, they're still westernizing, I guess would be the word I want to use here. So for some of them to be really radical, what did you guys expect? Do you not listen? It's not like they've hid this shit. Louis Farrakhan has not been hiding his hatred of Jews for the last 30 fucking years.
Mm-hmm. It's just people just started paying attention.
Now he doesn't like Jews? Why didn't they tell us? I didn't mean to cut you off there, but Jesus fucking Christ.
No, it makes sense. Like I said, it's people becoming conscious of this stuff. Like they're starting to notice it, and they're hypersensitive to it, and now they're looking for it. They're actively searching for it, and every single person that they see, every person that they engage with, every person they hear about on the news, and they're just like, I need something to be offended about. What has this person did to make me upset? And they look for it, and when they found it, they're like, okay, we got it. This is what we can be mad about.
But yeah, I just saw that and it made me laugh because this keeps happening. This keeps happening with we just saw it with both of the new elected congresswomen, the Muslim elected congresswomen. They were both really, really happy to have their photos taken with Linda Sarsour. I'm like, she's a fan of Farrakhan and just got the whole Women's March in trouble for that, right? Mm-hmm. Anyhow, this one is
real quick. Thank you, Cryptic. Islam is not a religion; it's a 1,500-year cult. Religions and cults. I mean, it's a matter of tenure and how widespread it is. Islam is a religion, just like Christianity is a religion, just like Judaism is a religion. Scientology. It's more
Scientology is a cult based on a book by a lunatic.
Yeah. Well, that's not to say that most religions aren't based on books by lunatics, but hey.
Yeah, but see, there's always been that difference if you go back. I mean,
tenure and popularity. It's always tenure and popularity that separates a cult from a religion.
I can forgive people in the 8,000 years ago believing somebody talked to a burning bush.
Mm-hmm.
Believing what the Scientologists believe in this day and age, are you fucking kidding me? You never mind. No. Moving on. Phil DeFranco is actually where I want to talk about the Gillette ad. Philly DeFranco today said, I just watched the Gillette ad. I get it that it can be seen as preachy or wokenomics, but it feels weird that so many people are seeing it as an attack on men. I'm looking at the replies, and some people are like, I have men in my family who served in the war. Holy escalation. Well, I'm just going to read you my reply. I said, it is an attack on men. Well, manly men. Bitch men are probably confused about why it's seen as an attack on men. Because of that, I was called many bad things today.
You?
I was. All of these people who think that we need to be nicer and adopt this Gillette-style manhood, they were quite angry over that.
Would you even say they were displaying behaviors of toxic masculinity?
A little bit, yes, I would.
What?
That to me was it struck me funny. Because I made a little jab there at Phil, but the people. I mean, it wasn't like there was a slow escalation from what I said to me and them arguing back and forth. There was one. It's not an attack on douchebags. You aren't a manly man. You're just an asshole. Like what? That don't even make no sense.
I don't know. Well, in my video, I did say. That I, for one, because of intent and looking at the video and the way these things are targeted, that I don't think that they were attacking all men either, because the dudes in the video that were stopping the shit from happening was their minority example of the good dudes that do exist in this world. And they were the ideal. These are the people you're supposed to be like. Because, obviously it was a targeted thing. So with that being said, because depending on who the commercial is targeting or where it's going for, if it ain't about you, then why are you upset? I was like, okay, well, I can kind of see that just because of the fact that they are literally saying that these guys bad, these guys good. not all men suck. And that's after I sat and watched it through like 3 times in a row.
What they actually said is some men have already started to make a change.
Right.
Because they were bad before. Because all men used to be bad. Some of them are coming around to being bitch men.
Right. And that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying in my video. Like the problem that I took with it was that presentation of those men as default and everybody else just kind of getting on this new wagon of being what they consider a decent man or a real man, what a real man is supposed to be. And that's where my issue is, because like one of the criticisms that other people said, this video isn't going to change any of the people who you are targeting. The people who you are targeting, they are all assholes by choice and by design. And them being in an alleyway and there being a TV in a window across the street of a Gillette commercial while they're raping somebody isn't going to stop them from raping that person. They're not.
No, let me tell you what would really happen in real life. In real life, the guy who tells the girl to smile and the dude jumps in, nah, bro, nah. He's going to take that girl into the house and rape her after he told that guy, no. Because that's what male fucking feminists do, or shoot her, because they like to kill women too. But we can't be honest about male feminists, because that commercial just wouldn't be allowed on TV.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to talk about the fight because we got to get into that fucketry. The fight has officially been canceled, gentlemen.
Okay, for those of that don't understand all this, give the backstory on the fight.
Andy Worski and Tonka Saw don't like each other. And Tonka Saw repeatedly challenged Andy to fight. Let's fight. And finally, one day, Andy got fed up with it. And like, all right, bitch, let's fight. And Tonka was like, what? He goes, come on, let's fight. And he goes, you name where you want to meet, and I will come down, and we can just fucking fight. And Tonka was like, oh, Andy's now challenged me to a fight. I'm like, that's how this started, literally. From there, Tonka said he wanted to have a sanctioned fight because he didn't want get in trouble with the law or anything, or what if somebody got hurt?
Sure,
because
that's not unreasonable.
When you're challenging a guy to fight, that is unreasonable. Oh no, I meant in a ring. Yeah.
If it was all going to charity, I wouldn't give a shit. But.
Well, from there, what's her name? I forget her name, but this MMA fighter, female MMA fighter, she's like, look, she got caught wind of it. She's like, I can set that up for you. And Tog was like, what? and it's like, sure, set it up. And so they got it set up, and fight's getting closer and closer. The fight was supposed to happen this Saturday. Well, it turned out on Friday, and this actually, I didn't know this, but neither fighter had gotten their blood work in like they were supposed to. So they were given an extension to have it in by Monday at 4 p.m.
Okay.
And here's where shit gets weird. At the last minute, Tonka gets his blood work in, but it's not the same name as he signed on his contract.
Right.
So they're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And Tonka goes, well, I changed my name. Now, apparently within the last 3 days, Tonka has changed his name. So it's not like this was something that he did. They signed the contract like a month ago or 2 months ago, something like that. And sometime in between there, it happened. Sometime in the last week, he changed his name. And for some reason, he didn't sign. Both the documents don't match up. So the athletic commission is like, we can't allow these guys to fight. We can't,
right,
because we don't have valid blood work for the name on the paperwork.
Right.
And they told him, if you can get us legal proof of your name change, then we can do it. And somehow, there's no legal. They couldn't get any legal paperwork to him.
Well, you just have to show a copy of there's a document that you have to sign when you go to the court if you're going to have your name legally changed, and they give it that says your name was this and now it's this, and here's so by ordered by the court, etc. That's all it is.
Yeah, we talked. I think it was yesterday that there might be a new contract. That contract was never drawn up because they just decided. Well, they're like, look, we can't get this. We cannot sanction this fight right now.
Right.
So yeah, the fight has fallen through completely.
Great. Well, non-event. Yay.
Well, it's a non-event, but there's a lot of people who bought tickets to this.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people who are flying in, who are making the trip in some way or another, rented hotel rooms.
Jesus.
There's no way to get their money back.
Oh, they can't refund the tickets?
I don't know if they're going to refund the tickets because this was an 18 card ticket.
Oh, I see. Oh, so they bought it on the promise of seeing that one fight, but they still have.
Yes.
There's still an event. It's just that fight isn't on the event anymore. Okay.
Exactly. So I don't know if they're refunding the tickets based on that or not.
Okay.
But I also don't know. I mean, this close to the reservation, how many of these people can get their hotels canceled and not have to pay for it? If they did buy plane tickets, how many? I mean,
when was the Tonka and Andy fight announced in the first place? Like
way back in November.
Oh, okay, I thought it was a lot more recent than that, but okay.
No, I believe the contract sign date was the 18th of November.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a while, and yeah, all they had to do was get their shit in and sign the document, right?
Now, do you think that the paperwork fuck up was intentional?
I think I don't think Tonka wanted to fight.
Okay.
I think Tonka just proved, and I talked about this a little bit briefly a few months ago. Do you remember a day on the internet where if somebody said fight me in real life, they became a joke? As soon as you said that, you were the fucking joke of the internet, because nobody does a you internet badass.
Yeah, if you actually mean it as an actual thing, yeah, it's a joke. But most people like as a retort. Like if I if I insult Weibo and he says I will fight you in real life or something like
right.
that's a cute little comeback. But if that's actually your threat against someone on the intertubes, yeah, that is pretty laughable.
And I think Tonka just proved why. It's because most of the people who do that, they're bitches. Who the fuck gets into an argument on the internet? Okay, let's fight, and means it. You were a cunt.
Well, I already around that time that you and him were having your little back and forth thing, even though, like, granted, you weren't taking it all that seriously or whatever. You were just like, "Fuck this dude." And I was just like, Tonka's a little bitch. He's a fucking terrier. That's what he is. He barks a lot when he's on a leash and he feels safe. But the moment some shit gets real, I guarantee he'll bitch out. And I was saying that, not knowing really anything about him. But I said, I grew up around these dudes. I know their fucking character. And I'm just like, let an opportunity comes up to where he has to actually back up the shit he says. And he'll back up. And he fucking did.
Yep. Just like... I'm with you. I mean, the personality. That's why. Come talk to me. I'll fucking talk to you. It's talking. What the fuck are you? What do you want about you? Like, I'd be afraid of that. Shut up, bitch. And this is nothing new, guys. He's heard me call him a bitch many times. But no, I think he probably did it on purpose. Because he doesn't want this fight. Now, he does say he's still going to Knoxville.
Okay, to do what?
I don't know, but he's hinting that he might get into a street fight, which is funny because that's what Andy said to do in the first place. But now that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, if Tonka becomes a street fighter, I want him to say "Huyuken" when he comes Andy.
If it's the street fight, I really put my money on Andy.
I don't know what Tonka. I've only seen Andy from the chest up, and I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen what Tonka is. What his situation is. So.
Well, Andy's put on like 20 pounds for this fight, and he's been training daily.
Okay.
Yeah. He's been showing himself off. He's finally come back to the internet after almost a month off, and in a couple of his live streams, he's shown off his guns there, and he's toning up pretty good. Nobody's seen Tonka since his wrestling videos, which I
think if they do end up doing the street fight thing, Tonka's gonna, like, right when the fight's gonna start, it's gonna be like, okay, so here are the rules.
Yeah. These are the rules. You're not allowed to hit me. But yeah. Tonka, well done on destroying what little credibility you had left on the internet, man.
That's all right, though, because as long as he's still producing drama, his people will still be around. They're not going nowhere.
All right. Well, guys, it is now time for chat's time. So chat, everyone, if you have questions, comments, conspiracy theories, complaints, ideas about what the new Ghostbusters movie plot will be. I can't wait to find out what the details are on that. Put them in the comment. Put them in the comments now, or the chat box now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of chat marks after it. If you have just general statements you'd like us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. And if you don't know what any of those terms mean, well, stick around. Somebody will probably educate you, because it is not my responsibility to educate you on how we talk here on Lords of the Night.
Can I guess the plot for the new movie?
By all means.
Okay. I got it. This gonna be perfect. It's gonna blow up.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be a movie
Uh-huh.
about a new, young, and spunky, because that has to be a word that's used in there. A group of Ghostbusters who found out that the world, the problems that we're having right now, is linked because a lot of white supremacist ghosts are still lingering around, and their negative energy is what's fueling all of the groups, the alt-right and all that stuff. Like, that's the answer. That's what got Trump elected and everything. So they have to go kill all the white supremacist ghosts and absorb them, and then all the negative energy will go away, and all the white supremacists won't be that anymore, and the alt-right people will be like, you know what, I've been wrong this whole time, and it'll be a hit.
Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Thought I'd get some sleep before work, but set my alarm too early, got resettled for sleep. Then maintenance came through the hall with an industrial-sized vacuum leaf blower. May as well stay up. Jesus, that sucks, Johnny.
My guess on the Ghostbusters plot, real quick, is going to be that they're going to exorcise the ghost that made the last Ghostbusters happen.
I think one of the characters is going to be Venkman's son, Oscar, who we saw in Ghostbusters 2. There will be some kind of passing of the torch, either in Venkman died and willed something to Oscar, or something like that. And Oscar and a new team will have to pick up where they left off because of something they left undone. Or what would be even cooler is if Dan Aykroyd's character ends up being the villain, because he finally gave in to all of his occultist nutjobbiness, and he's the one that's doing something nasty with ghosts, and he opens up a portal or something. I think that'd be really cool. But anyway, let's see. Serenity Lotus says, after 25 years, Pop-Tart cereal has returned. Thoughts? They can't think of anything new? That's my thought.
No thoughts.
Let's see. Harvest Marvels, do you think they'll... Oh, okay.
I did have to. I actually stopped and laughed out loud when we were in Walmart the other day because I saw Dunkin' Donuts cereal.
Oh yeah, the fucking that was weird.
Sugar Bombs, the cereal.
Exactly.
Let's see. Harvest Marvel says, "Do you think they'll bring back the Marshmallow Man?"
Nah.
I don't.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think they. I don't think Ivan Reitman's son. Hopefully, he's smart enough to know not to be that much of a callback kind of thing. Hopefully, because I think that'd be recycled. I mean, let's just hope. The one thing I do hope, whatever else, even if it's bad, I just hope that Ghostbusters 2022 or whatever the fuck it comes out is not just the Force Awakens of the Ghostbusters franchise, which effectively does the exact same story as the first Ghostbusters, just with different people. I just hope it isn't that. Let's see. Jenna P says, have the neurologists ever electrocuted any of you? Well, I don't have a neurologist, so no.
I've been zapped a few times.
Okay, Monkey is a yes. Satsu?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Has a neurologist ever electrocuted you?
Only 3 times.
Only 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Furry Kitten says, plings or wacky carrots? I don't know what either of those things are.
Nani?
I don't know. Tall person says, this is more for Satsu, but anyone have any thoughts about Blue Mage or anything Final Fantasy 14 related as of late? Satsu, I have no idea.
I just unlocked the Blue Mage this morning. I haven't done anything with it yet. So far, like when I logged in, because I don't know if you guys, I know Monkeys played MMOs. Scribe, have you really gotten to MMOs?
Not Final Fantasy 14.
Well, just I said MMOs, like in general.
Well, a couple, but I'm not like a big MMO player.
Okay. Well, whenever something new comes out, like a new event or something like that, whenever you go to that NPC to talk to them, there are fucking hundreds of people all over the place, and there's a sea of names, and you got to try to find the NPC and all that shit, to unlock whatever new thing has come out. And there was a fuck ton of people blue maging it up. So, I mean, I didn't hear anything. I've seen a lot of people already leveled it up to max level. Like, they've already done that, which fucking blows my mind. But I mean, I haven't heard any opinions about it so far. I think it'll be interesting, but I got to play it first to let you know. So I'll play it through and probably put up a video about it if you guys are really curious. But that's it. Did we lose Grad?
Scribbles, you there?
Sorry, I had to. I phone rang for a second there. I had to answer something.
Oh no, that's fine.
Work related. Moving on. Let's see. Harvos Marvos. What do you think of the movie The Fog, original, not remake? Not one of Carpenter's best horror movies, but it's got some sentimental charm, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Backscan says, I think a group of people will move into the firehouse and accidentally release the ghosts from the container the original busters left behind. In other words, the laziest story possible. I assume it's going to have something to do with the problem will be centered around the trap or the storage containment field or whatever. Something about that. But it does seem a bit too easy. But then this is Hollywood, so. Serenity Lotus says, it has been rumored that the original cast are completely on board with the new Ghostbusters. Well, that'd be fine, I guess.
Well, after that last shit bomb they got suckered into.
Yeah. Bill Murray, to me, would still be the biggest wild card regardless. But the other thing, too, are they all going to be alive by the time they make this thing? Angela Ariaga says, Scribe, you want Ray to be the Ghostbusters bad guy, the dude who was so innocent that he conjured the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Well, that's just the thing. I mean, after all these years, what have they been up to? Egon's obviously going to have to have been passed away. I think it'd be a nice twist if maybe not he's the bad guy, but if one of the other Ghostbusters is the cause of the problem in some fashion. Like they kick off everything accidentally and then somebody else has to come in and help out. But I really hope they bring Oscar into it because that is the one character they could conceivably bring in from the original, franchise that would have a relevant role this many years on. Let's see, what else? And then my chat jumped. Thanks there, YouTube. The Russians got to Scribe. No, they didn't get to me. I just had to deal with a work thing real quick. Jenna P asks, should neurology tests take 5 hours with pain meds given for the last hour of testing? I don't know, Monkey. You have more experience in this than I do.
It depends on the testing.
Yeah, I suppose.
My last one took 3 hours.
Darkala says, Ghostbuster subplot. Dickless comes back and admits he was wrong all along. No, actually, wait. Peck was right. If you watch the movie and you listen to his concerns, he wasn't wrong. He was actually right.
No, he was wrong.
How was he wrong?
Because he said that what they were doing was dangerous, and the only reason it was dangerous is because of what he did. If he never had the containment field turned off, there's no reason to say all that shit would have happened.
Yeah, but they were still operating a nuclear reactor underneath the firehouse.
But it wasn't a danger to anybody until he turned it off.
Well, all it would have taken at some point is for the power to go off anyway, so it was a danger the whole time.
He was the danger, not it.
Well, he might have sped up the process, but it wasn't something that wasn't going to happen at some point anyway.
Just because the plot demanded it.
Yeah. No, but actually, if they brought back William Atherton, that'd be great. I think they should get as many people from the original as they possibly can. And if by some miracle they get Rick Moranis out of retirement just for like 10 minutes, that I would go see that movie regardless of whether it was good, bad, or otherwise. Just see Rick Moranis on the screen again would be great. Let's see. Angela says, Scribe, I do agree that would rock if Oscar was the new head of the Ghostbusters, or at least had some role. Like if they don't get Bill Murray back, if Oscar was sort of like in charge of his estate or something like that, or if they get Sigourney Weaver could come back too.
Oscar wasn't his kid.
Well, yeah, he was.
No, because he even looks at him and says, "I could have been your dad."
Oh, that's right. She had it with somebody else. Well, okay. Well, all right. Well, Oscar should come back. I don't give a shit. He was practically Venkman's kid at that point.
Make Oscar the bad guy since he's the bastard child of Sigourney Weaver and Sam Rando.
Let's see. Frosted Glass says, do I cut the red wire or blue wire? Time is a factor. Green.
Cut them both at the same time and see what happens.
There you
go. The YouTube delay has already killed you, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he was asking that last night too, so I don't think time's of the importance he's telling us.
Let's see. Backskin says, actually, Peck was wrong. He started out saying they were using a light show and hallucinogens to trick people.
That's true, too.
Well, when he came in and said they were operating like a dangerous, nuclear reactor underneath their firehouse, he wasn't wrong about that. And even the Ghostbusters knew they were playing with dangerous shit. Remember the elevator scene? When they turn on the proton packs for the first time?
Well, that's because they hadn't tested them before.
Well, yeah, exactly. They back away. God, that movie is still, just thinking about it, that movie is one of the best comedies.
It is.
Best written, best acted, the whole 9 yards. It's just such a perfect film. Let's see. Serenity Low says, Scribe, like the new TSA plot to get back at having to work. Play uncensored rap music throughout the entire airport. Okay. Well, that's one way. Harvo says they might go the extreme Ghostbusters route. Black guy, goth girl, Latino wheelchair-bound guy, and slacker white guy. What about bringing back Slimer? They shouldn't bring back Slimer. I think that's too easy, and the remake did that, and so fuck that now. Extreme Ghostbusters, it's going to be a new team of people, no doubt, whatever they do, however the torch is passed. Whether it's, I think at least in this movie, you're going to have some of the original Ghostbusters with the new people fighting the ghosts at some point or another to really have the transition, sort of like Star Trek Generations, even though that movie sucked.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're done with thought, I have to interrupt with something else. I apologize.
My thought's gone. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Soulja Boy tweeted this out yesterday, apparently, the day before. I missed this. All my fans send me something, cash.me. I will pick a random donator who sends the largest donation and give you a free Soulja watch and Soulja console.
Are you fucking serious?
So wait, you interrupted my thought on Ghostbusters with something completely unrelated and then apologized and said you didn't mean to. Oh, my fucking God.
Wait, I just want to point this out again. He said he'll pick a random donator who sends the largest donation.
Yeah, I'm giving you a one-fingered salute right now, Monkey. Let's see. Furry Kitten says, Big Trouble in Little China 2, Electric Boogaloo.
No.
They've been talking about that for years. Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Can't recreate the magic of that movie anyway.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Carpenter won't do it. Now, that's not to say that they haven't talked about it. I remember Big Trouble in Little China remake starring The Rock was rumored for a while there. And I think that died, I hope. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Ghostbusters without Harold Ramis is going to suck. It could work if the people doing it care about the franchise and are not just doing a cash grab. If Ivan Reitman's kid, with the advice of Ivan Reitman, with the advice of everybody else, to rein in people like Aykroyd and everybody else. If they can do it, great. But yes, Harold Ramis not being there to be part of it is going to suck. It is going to suck. It's not going to make the movie necessarily suck. It doesn't immediately damn the movie, but it won't feel quite complete. They should have made Ghostbusters 3 back in the 90s when they planned on it and get it over with. Cynical Lizzie says, who's more powerful of the Ghostbusters villains, Gozer or Vigo? I think Gozer. Gozer the Gozerian? Yeah, Vigo... Gozer seemed to have, especially when Gozer could conjure the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, a giant King Kong-sized threat to New York City, just on the thoughts of some random idiot in front of her. I think Gozer's a bit more powerful.
You know what I've always wondered about that movie?
What's that?
Their idea was clear your mind. Just clear your mind.
Yes.
But if they chose nothing as the form of destruction, that would be unstoppable.
No, the nothing would show up, and then the Fantasia would be gone. Rolling Bear, the Ghost of Egon. I don't think they'll go there. I don't think they'll go there. I think they'll leave Harold Ramis alone.
You think Rick Moranis will come back to acting for that?
I just said that earlier.
I wasn't listening to you.
I said if they convince Rick Moranis to come out of retirement just for 10 minutes to do a quick cameo or something.
Oh, I do remember you saying that.
Yeah, I'll go to the movie regardless, even if I think it's going to be bad, just to see him on the big screen again. I'll go see it. Let's see. Cynical Lizzie says they're remaking Big Trouble in Little China starring The Rock. I hope it doesn't go through. No Jack Burton, no Big Trouble. Well, no, it'll be The Rock as Jack Burton. That's the thing if they do it. So, but yeah, it won't really be Jack Burton, but.
I just don't think that movie works without the cheese, and I don't think they'll put the cheese in it purposefully in a way that would work.
Not in the way that it gelled in the 80s. I mean, you can't. It's kind of weird, you can't quite manufacture or script that kind of magic.
No,
those characters and those performances, and just sort of the laissez-faire way they went about it, and especially if Carpenter's not directing it. Now, Carpenter's abilities as a director have kind of waned over the years. His abilities as a musician have definitely taken an uptick. Have you listened to the Halloween soundtrack for the remake?
No.
Oh my God, that music is fucking badass. And if you watch any of the videos that have been made off of Carpenter's singles and albums the last couple of years, he does some really, really cool techno throwback 80s stuff. It's really good. And most of it sounds like it could be movie themes that they'd use today for things like Stranger Things or whatever else. But his redo of the Halloween theme for the remake, it's got bits and pieces of the original in there, but it's not a complete ripoff of his own work. It's actually really cool. Anyway, Bad Comedy says, what if Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas show up as Bob and Doug McKenzie as Ghostbusters? That would break my brain. I don't know. That would be funny. That'd be hilarious, though. But if they got Dave Thomas to make a cameo, I don't know. You could get some of the SCTV guys in there. Get Eugene Levy to show up. That'd be great. Let's see. Cynical Lindsay says, the choose your form of the Destructor is a huge flaw for Gozer, though, as proven by Ray. Well, I mean, it did destroy things. It had a weakness. It was fire, kind of. But not really, because it really was destroying the gates that destroyed the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Let's see, what else? Functional says, yeah, Jack Burton just looks that big old Storm right square in the eye and says, give me your best shot, pal, I can take it. Yeah, see, the thing about The Rock, I think part of the charm of Jack Burton is that he doesn't look quite like an action hero. He's not all like, I mean, not to say that Kurt Russell wasn't in good shape, but he wasn't like a gargantuan bodybuilder like The Rock.
Mm.
So there's something that's sort of like, you can almost you can sort of project yourself into Jack Burton a little bit in the original, because he's a bit more of an everyman, a little bit. The Rock is not an everyman. The Rock is an exceptional individual by leaps and miles. So I don't know if it worked the same way. Let's see, Ebony Williams says, beach date or movie date? Well, why not both? Put a projector out on the beach with a big sheet up for a screen. Watch a movie on the beach. How about that?
Scribe. being romantical.
Romantical? Is
That's
that
a word. Look it up.
is that like a heart-shaped testicle?
I guess it can be now.
All right, well, there you go. Dom O'Leary says, what about the cast of Trailer Park Boys as the new Ghostbusters? No, thank you. No, thank you. Let's see. Actually, you know who they should cast in the new Ghostbusters team? All the comedians that have been caught up in Me Too unjustly. So Louis C.K., Aziz Ansari, they should be new Ghostbusters. That'd be fucking hilarious. Let's see. Mata Winter says, Lords of the Night, would you recommend showing movies like Watership Down to children a good idea? Watership Down's awfully dark and complex.
I don't know it. What would be a movie like it?
A movie like Watership, that's a tough order. Maybe like The Secret of Nim, something that's kind of, I mean, it is a cartoon, but it's kind of a darker tone kind of thing.
Depends on the age or the level of the kid.
Yeah. Let's see. Jenna P, is there someone there with you? What is that? Well, I must have missed something. What's up with Jenna P? I'll admit that I'm scared about what's wrong, what's going on with the pain in my brain. First time in years, I'm actually afraid of the results of all the testing. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things, why worry until you got something to worry about, I suppose. But that's all you can do is just kind of wait and see what they say.
Why can't I see this?
I don't know. You don't have Top Chat on or whatever?
God damn it.
Let's see. Irish Rose says, can't they just make some new movies and stop making remakes? Well, that's what everybody's been saying forever, but the banking on people's nostalgia, banking on recognizable franchises and intellectual properties is a hell of a lot easier way to make money than to try to take a risk with something new. And so studios, movies are an investment, just like putting money into a stock. And whenever you invest money, the one thing you want to do or try to do your best at is to minimize risk. And things that are safe minimize risk. So Star Wars, Hunger Games, Starsky and Hutch, 21 Jump Street, Ghostbusters, remake Beauty and the Beast, Lion King. These are safe bets. And
there's nothing wrong with doing that, though.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just boring.
Wouldn't be. No, see, if they did it right, it wouldn't be. When they made Empire Strikes Back, they were continuing the story, and it was a good story. And then Jedi, it was an okay story.
Yeah.
You continue from there, and you actually make a good story. Cool, go Star Wars. If you make what they've been making, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with going back to an old franchise or something that's already established. If they do it right, but they're lazy. They're fucking lazy about it.
Well, yeah, you have to add to it. You don't just redo it. That's the problem, yeah.
Well, not only that, they have the added benefit now because fandom in itself is now being villainized. Like, its very existence, being a fan of something, makes you horrible by default. Anything that they do go in and remake, they'd be like, well, it doesn't have to be good. We'll just call them toxic and say that they're gatekeeping if, the people who originally liked it don't. And the media will eat it up. They're on our side. So we could, go through the efforts of trying to create something unique and new, or we could capitalize on the market right now and take advantage of the fact that these people are being demonized just for liking something and make some shit, throw it out there, make some money, and then also capitalize and make some extra money off people who want to troll them and make them feel like shit for criticizing it. So,
Dom O'Leary, if you guys had to do a remake, what movie would you do to possibly make better? My number one remake choice would be Mars Attacks. I would make Mars Attacks as what the trading cards originally tried to promote. It was goofy looking, but it was about the atrocities of war. I would make it a war movie, an actual war movie, just replacing, the Nazis essentially in like a World War II movie with the aliens. Actually make it a dark, gritty war movie. And yeah, it would look goofy with the space guns and the suits and everything else. But that was kind of the contrast. You had these really goofy looking aliens doing ridiculously horrible things, and so you had that sort of dichotomy of the whole thing. That's what I would remake.
The original Resident Evil movie.
Oh God.
Like, I mean, although, like I said, it wasn't too far off from what Resident Evil. It was competent on the lowest level, but I was just like, they could have did this so much better.
Mine would be The Force Awakens, and I would gut the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I would make it, since you got the rebellion has beat the Empire, I would actually make it a war between the galaxy, everybody vying for control and stuff. That's where you can have some interesting stuff without a fucking Mary Sue who wakes up and knows how to use a lightsaber with no training.
Now, if I had to redo the Star Wars reboot or whatever, I would either set the movie 1,000 years in the future or 3,000 years in the past.
Sure, that's
because I avoid the whole Skywalker thing, the rebellion, the Empire. That whole arc was fine and done and closed. Doesn't need anything else to be said about it. And if you set the movie far enough in the future, then all of whatever happened in the past can be part of fan fiction. That's what all the fans want anyway, is just, to have it open-ended and leave it be. Anyway.
You don't even have to move it that far out of the Skywalker universe or timeline. But pushing all of these characters into it just so you can kill them off slowly, go fuck yourself.
Bad Comic Review says, remake The Day the Clown Cried, Skylight. No, just release The Day the Clown Cried. just release that movie. There's no reason to remake it. It just needs to be released to the public so everybody can see it, because it is a legend that has not been seen by more than like a handful of people. So you guys know what the movie is?
No.
I do.
Jerry Lewis made a movie called The Day the Clown Cried, where the plot is he is a circus clown who is in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany during World War II, and he's trying to sort of survive. There are elements of this story that kind of made their way into Life is Beautiful, if you ever saw Life is Beautiful, where they end up in a concentration camp, and the father has to sort of like make his son feel like it's a game rather than realize the horror of what's going on around him. Sure. But in this case, you've got a clown who's trying to keep the children happy, and the movie ends with the clown, played by Jerry Lewis, again, sort of fooling the kids into thinking it's all fun and games and leading them into the showers. Like as they're marching along laughing or something at the funny clown.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a movie that never was released because it's just so in horrible taste. These days, I don't know how it would be received. I'm not quite sure. Given its age and everything else around it, I'm not quite sure. It probably wouldn't be lauded. But Duck Dog says, Shakes the Clown. Shakes the Clown is hilarious. My favorite part is where it's a town where like the two big gangs are clowns or mimes. And you got the mimes, they're doing the little routine on the corner, and they're all, trapped in a box and all that. And then this like big red convertible comes around the corner, a bunch of clowns in it, and the clowns are in the car and they go, "Mimes, get them!" And then all the mimes turn and look, and suddenly they stop being quiet and they go, "Clowns, shit!" And they run away. It's just fucking weird. Let's see. The Dark Towers is Prophet of Junk. Dark Towers should be a TV series. It shouldn't have been a movie. That story is way too long and epic, and I think it is I think they're making a TV series out of it now, but they shouldn't have made that movie. That movie was a complete waste of time. Let's see. 2 minutes to go. 2 minute warning, guys. Bad Comedy says remake it as a Mel Brooks movie. Remake what as a Mel Brooks movie? Oh, Day the Clown Cried? No, just release the original. I don't think Mel Brooks does movies anymore. But if Mel Brooks does another movie before he dies, it should be Spaceballs 2. I mean, that would get Rick Moranis out of retirement for 10 minutes. Prophet of Drunk says them. Well, Prophet of Drunk, truth be told, there have been a whole slew of giant insect movies in the last several years. You just have to look for them because they didn't last long in the theaters or were direct-to-video things. Like Eight-Legged Freaks. You want to watch Eight-Legged Freaks?
Squishy was watching that the other day.
Yeah. James Colley says Jacob the Liar sounds like Jacob the Liar is on the similar wavelength as that too. Yeah, it's just not quite as I think offensive as what Lewis did. But anyway, guys, by the time I finish this, we'll be at the top of the hour. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us as you always do. You guys are the best audience in the world, universe. Thank you, moderators, for keeping an eye on things, even though our audience is the best behaved group of people on a show like this in the world. Thank you, everyone, very much for your donations. I really do appreciate it. It will all go towards Goldfish and Dr. Pepper, and so that my arteries can clog up and my diabetes can enhance my life experience, I suppose. I can lose my feet, walk around on cans, that kind of thing. Remember, guys, tomorrow night, per usual, will be on Monkey's channel at the regular time. But other than that, you guys aren't game streaming tonight, so yeah.
Night off.
Monkey, Satsu, thank you for joining me as always. Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Okay, so last time, previously on Secret Word, we had deer skin. But today the secret word is... Of course it would be. Why not? Today's secret word is flog.
Wow.
Because of course it would be.